Hello, YouTube. I know it's literally been like a long time since I last posted a YouTube video, but I actually have a topic that I want to come on and talk about because I recently just shared like my transformation picture over Instagram, and I did get a lot of people like asking how I got from where I was to where I am now. So I'm gonna be talking about that today in today's YouTube video, and then potentially maybe I will start try my best to, post a little bit more on YouTube, but we'll see. So I am going to start from literally the very beginning in like 2016. So this might be a long video, we'll see. All right, so 2016, 4 years ago, dang, it's crazy how fast time flies. But that was when I first decided to do my first bikini competition. Now, when I decided that, I was honestly kind of in a weird spot in my life. I had just recently ended like a long-term relationship. I didn't really know how to fully be by myself. My best friend and I at the time were also in a really weird place, and I just like didn't really have that many friends, honestly, and like people around me. And yeah, just in a weird spot. So I was like, I'm gonna do bikini competition. Honestly, I'd always admired the sport. I've always wanted to compete myself, but it's so important to do it when you're ready mentally, because it is such a mental challenge as well as a physical challenge. So yeah, it's very important that you do your bikini competition when you are in a really good spot in your life and a really good spot mentally, which I was not. So yeah, I decided to do a bikini competition. So I reached out to a coach and hired her. She was the best, love her. I did learn so much from her, and I had a really good prep. Again, weird spot in my life. Now fast forward to like 4 months later, it was February of 2017, and that's after my shows when everything went down. So I didn't place, which honestly I wasn't even that upset. I mean, obviously I was like a little bit disappointed, but it was fine. Like I had such an amazing experience. And then everyone goes out to eat after their show, and they eat like all this food, and I'm pretty sure I took it to the next level. Like I ate so much food to the point where I was like really sick. And whatever, that's no big deal. And then the next day I kind of had like a free day to eat whatever I wanted. And that day as well, I ate so much food. My whole day was just full of garbage. So by the end of that day, I felt like shit. Like I was so bloated. And then the next morning, obviously I was holding on to a lot of water retention from all the sodium. And I didn't really know like what water weight was at the time. Like I didn't know much at all. So I stepped on the scale and I was like pretty heavier than I was the day before, which immediately that got to my head. Just right off the bat, I was like, holy crap, like I've already put on body fat. Like I can't do this again. Like I need to get right back to my shit and never eat all this food again. So the next day I messaged my coach. I'm like, hey, there's a show coming up in June and I really want to do that one. Honestly, like in the back of my mind, I was like, I just need to keep competing because I really don't want to gain my weight back. Literally, my mentality was just screwed already. And so she's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Like, hell yeah. So I started, we kind of had like a little diet break. My carbs increased a little bit, and cardio decreased a little bit as well. And that whole week, I ate so much food. Like, I completely fell off track with my macros and stuff. I wasn't following them whatsoever. I was overeating almost every single day that week. And I just kept telling myself like, oh, it's a free week. Like I can do whatever I want, and then I'll get right back to it the week after. And I remember this feeling. I was standing in the shower, and I hold almost all my body fat in my lower body, like my legs and my glutes and stuff. So I looked down in the shower and noticed my legs looked pretty puffy. And immediately I was like, oh my God, my legs are disgusting. Like I can never let myself go like this. Like, how could you do this to yourself? All just filling my head with all of these negative thoughts. So then the next week came around, and I was like getting back to things, and I was a little bit more strict with myself and like following my macros and everything, blah, 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 doing cardio. And like, things spiraled from there pretty much. Like I've had a few good days where I was like completely on track, and then a few bad days where I would binge eat, which I didn't really know what that binge eating really was at the time. I just thought I was like deprived and wanted to eat all this food because I was deprived for so long. Now a few more weeks went by, and I still wasn't feeling myself at all. I still felt like I was disgusting, and I had put on so much body fat, and I was still planning on doing this show. So I actually took a trip home back to my parents' house to house sit for them while they went to Hawaii. And I was completely alone there, and it was like a huge snowstorm, so I was like literally snowed into my house. It's just like completely isolated. And that time I struggled so much with being alone, and I was kind of like, again, in such a weird, depressing kind of place. So when I was home, I literally used food to make me feel better. So I'm pretty sure I binged every single day when I was at home. And then I came back to Calgary, and I was like thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this show. Like, I'm in such a weird mental spot right now, and I can't control myself. And I don't think it's like, it was very hard for me to do this. Like, I was like, I don't think doing this show is like right for me right now. So I reached out to my coach and I told her that first, and she was very understanding and super supportive. And I told Instagram and everybody, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this show, and everyone was very supportive, and it was great. It was like a huge relief lifted off my shoulders when I decided not to do the show. And then after that, like I felt like I had all this freedom and stuff, so I started eating more food, and I was still with my coach, and I eventually just like kind of stopped checking in with her and stopped like telling her what was going on, because I just felt like a failure, you know, like I just felt very disappointed in myself, and I didn't want people to know that about me. So I just stopped checking in with her, and then eventually I told her, I'm like, yeah, I just don't think I can continue with coaching right now. Like, I'm just going through some weird spots in my life, which was probably a mistake, because if I did have a coach there for me, things probably wouldn't have gotten as bad as they did. Now, this is probably about 3 or 4 months after my show. I had gained 40 pounds, you guys. So when you don't reverse diet properly, like my metabolism was a lot slower because I was eating very few calories and I was doing quite a bit of cardio. So my metabolism was here, and my food was like way up here because eating so much food every single day. So obviously my body is going to store that food as fat, which is where all that 40 pounds came from. I was just completely disgusted with myself. I was so upset and so insecure, and I just felt absolutely terrible and so disappointed in myself. I was like, I don't want anyone to see me like this. Like, this is just embarrassing. And like, looking back, I didn't even look bad at all. Like, yeah, I obviously looked a lot bigger because, you know, going from being so lean to like 40 more pounds of fat, yeah, it's really gonna mess with your head, especially, you know, within that time frame. So this is when things started to get super shitty. Everything bad happened, like everything bad that could happen happened to me. I was in such a negative mindset. So obviously when you're putting out all this negativity, it's just going to come right back to you. So I ended up moving out of my place with my best friend. Again, we were at a weird place in our lives together. We're good now. And I moved into a basement suite by myself. Now this was extra depressing. And my sister had moved away from Calgary. So I was just like pretty much alone. I completely isolated myself from everybody because I didn't want to be seen like this. I literally switched gyms because I was so embarrassed of how much weight I had put on. And so yeah, very shitty time in my life. I was living in this little basement suite by myself, binge eating almost every single day. And every day I'd be like, okay, I need to get right back to it. I need to eat so strict. I need to do all this cardio just so I can lose this weight super fast and I could be happy again. Big mistake. It was a very vicious cycle that just continued to happen. You know, restrict yourself for a few days and then binge because you're so restricted. Literally vicious cycle. I ended up moving out of that basement suite with a girl, a friend that I worked with. And that was such an amazing environment to be around. Honestly, it helped me a lot just getting out of there and just being with somebody. She had a dog, so it was just like a great place for me to live. I was still struggling though with binge eating. Honestly, I struggled for 2 years with this, but yeah, it was just like a better environment to be in, and that made me a lot happier to, you know, live there. And then the new year came around, and something that also like contributed to my negativity was I hated my job so much. Going there every day, I was just depressed. So I worked at Emergency Animal Hospital for 4 years, and yes, it sounds like an amazing job, and it really was. Like, it was a rewarding job, and I loved it like for a few years, but after that it was just like mentally exhausting, and I just wasn't passionate about it anymore, and so it made me super depressed going into work. So I decided to make a change there, and that's when so it's like 2018 now, in the new year, I decided to pursue my career in online fitness coaching. And that was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. So obviously it took me a while to like build up my clientele, to be able to quit my full-time job. But yeah, just like getting out of my comfort zone and doing something different definitely helped like my mindset as well, and like my positivity, and just like learning something new and doing something new was definitely good for me. And then eventually I did quit my job and became online coach full-time, which was just amazing. But still struggling with binge eating. Now, eventually I would continue to take progress pictures and be like, okay, it's time to cut, like it's time to lose this weight. And then, vicious cycle again. I would binge. Eventually, I just told myself, okay, I need to stop focusing so hard on losing body fat and just focus kind of on, my happiness, my mindset. And so that's exactly what I did. I started working on daily affirmations, like writing 5 things down that I love about myself and like things I'm grateful for and stuff. And I started surrounding myself with some awesome people. So I got, a solid group of friends, and we did new things every single weekend, which, took me out of my comfort zone. And it really did help me a lot. And I hadn't binged in like a few weeks, which was great. But eventually I would binge again. It was just like, I felt like I could just never get over this. Like I thought this was gonna be me for the rest of my life. So I weighed myself for the first time after a few months, and I was still 180 pounds, which is like 40 pounds over my normal body weight. So yeah, I really wanted to get better and get over this. So I decided to reach out to my doctor and go over things with her and see what she says. So she asked me to step on the scale, and 180 pounds, she told me I was clinically obese, which like obviously didn't make me feel very good, but I knew that I was at an unhealthy weight for my body, and that's why I was there. I was like, I want to make a change. So I literally didn't talk to anybody about my binge eating, like at all, literally. I kept it to myself, and I would kind of make jokes about it, like, oh yeah, I eat so much food all the time, ha ha ha, so funny, like I love food so much, blah blah blah. When deep down I was like crying and sad. I was like, I want to get over this so bad. So yeah, I reached out to my doctor, talked to her about it. She recommended, there's like groups you can go to with like eating disorder groups with people you can talk to. There's like a helpline and stuff. She also made me fill out like these forms, and I was diagnosed with mild depression and anxiety, which like also made me kind of feel like shit. But then I was looking back, I was like, makes sense. Like I do feel pretty depressed majority of the time, and I do have like anxiety attacks, panic attacks and stuff like that. So it was just another thing. I'm like, oh, like how do I get over this? Like, so frustrated. After my doctor's appointment, I didn't reach out to any of those groups. I just felt like that wasn't really gonna help me. I mean, maybe it would have if I actually did, but I didn't. I started like looking on YouTube of girls that had gone through the same thing that I did. Randy Kennedy is someone that I really looked up to because she did struggle with binge eating for a while. And I took some of the tips and tricks that she suggested on and I started doing those as well. So she does have a YouTube video on it if you guys wanted to watch it. And things started to slowly get better, but they weren't 100% at all. But I started to just really appreciate the fact that I was getting better. I started celebrating those small wins of like not binge eating one day, or not binge eating for a few days. And if I did binge eat, I still would get very down on myself and feel like a failure, feel like I'm starting over and stuff, blah blah. And then some days were better, some days were really bad. And then I decided to, this was a huge mistake. I was like, a month has gone by and I didn't binge, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to do another bikini competition. And deep down inside I was just like, I just want to lose the weight. So I reached out to this coach guy, worked with him for 3 weeks I think, and he literally put me on the strictest diet ever, super low calorie, doing lots of cardio. And just like that, binge eating came right back. And I was like, wow, like this is not for me. I can't even like think about competing right now. Like that is just off the table for me right now. Like I'm not even gonna think about it or do it. So I quit with that coach. I was like, hell no, not for me. And then started to just like focus on myself again, and like focus on, getting my happiness again, and try to do better with, my anxiety and depression. I ended up doing a business course. I had done one like when I first started online coaching. I ended up doing another business course with Brian Mark, and he's someone who really helped me with my anxiety and panic attacks, because it was a pretty expensive course and I was like freaking out about spending like money. I was literally freaking out, having so many panic attacks, and he honestly, like, he helped me a lot with it. Definitely a lot. And the business course helped my business so much, like crazy. So that was great. And then after I did that business course, a few months ago by, and I was talking with Nick Comedina over Instagram. I was just like, oh, I did one of your workouts. Like that was a really good workout. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe eventually you'll become a part of our team. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready to like start with another coach. So I kind of like told him a little bit about my struggles over Instagram. He's like, you know what, why don't we hop on a video chat and we can talk all about it. And I was like, oh my God, seriously? So right then and there, we hopped on a video call, and I opened up to him about my struggles with binge eating and my constant cycle of like restricting myself and then, you know, binge eating on the weekends or whatever. And he, like what he said to me over Instagram, I was just like, wow, I really believe that you can help me. Like I want to be on your team. So right then and there, I hired him to be my coach. Now, it was really hard for me to open up about things because A, I was embarrassed, and B, I was a coach myself, and the fact that I was able to help so many women and not help myself was like super embarrassing for me. So I just like hated talking about it. But talking about it to people made me feel better. It was a mistake to keep that to myself for so long, because if I did talk to somebody about it, like right off the bat, I feel like, you know, I would have gotten help a lot sooner. But anyway, so yeah, I started with Nick, and my metabolism was just like so slow because of all the restricting and all the binging. It was just like terrible. So that's what we focused on. We didn't focus on, you know, losing weight, even though like I did want to lose weight, because I had a super unhealthy weight for my body, like literally walking up a flight of stairs, I was so out of breath, and going for hikes and bike rides with my friends, I was just dying. So I did want to improve with that. But we just really focused on my metabolism and my internal health and my mindset as well. So we focused on increasing my calories, and that was like, and with Nick, like it's no restrictions whatsoever. It's all about flexible dieting. And that's something that I needed. Like I couldn't do a strict diet at all. So so we just focused on increasing calories, and eventually like my calories were so high and I was eating so much food. I didn't binge for months, you guys. And I was so happy. I was like, and I was making progress. I was losing body fat. I was losing weight on the scale, and I was just thriving. Like, and I was really working so damn hard on my mindset. Like again, every single morning I would journal, daily affirmations, focus on things I'm grateful for. Just trying really hard to just focus on positivity and not let the small negatives take over my entire life. I worked so hard on that every single day. And having Nick as my coach helped me so much in like ways I can't even explain. Like just having the right coach to work with and having them support you and be there for you and to educate you, it just makes your journey just so much more enjoyable and so much easier. So yeah, I got to such a great place in my life. Like things were just freaking great. And then I started dating my boyfriend Dalen, and he's really helped me with my self-love as well, and our relationship. Like I was just so happy. And things just like continuously to get better and better and better. And this is 2 years had gone by that I was struggling so hard. And so I was just, I was very happy to finally start doing better. And then, this is a funny story. So I was actually watching the tennis competition between Serena and that young Canadian girl. And when she won, the Canadian girl, she was like 19 or something, I think. When she won, just the look on her face of how excited she was, and you know, all of her hard work paid off in that moment. I was like, oh, like that feeling was probably just so amazing. And I was like, I want to feel that. And because I've never really been very good at stuff in my life. Like I didn't play sports in high school, and like, you know, I've just never really been amazing at anything. So in that moment, I was like, and people were also getting ready to compete at the Olympia, which has been my dream, to just walk on the Olympia stage and compete. That's been my dream forever. And people are getting ready for that. And just like watching that tennis rally really made me want to step on stage again. And I fully believed that I was ready mentally, physically, and I really was. I was in such a good place mentally. So yeah, I told Nick that. I was like, okay, I really want to step on stage again. You know, like it's always been my goal. I think I'm ready. So we started, you know, getting right to it, getting ready for a show. I think it was coming up in like March or something. And, you know, calories started getting decreased, cardio started to get increased, and I was doing great, like so great. I wasn't binge eating at all. But then I had one night, you guys, one night where I ended up binge eating. And right there, I was like, just so disappointed in myself. And I reached out to Nick and I was like, hey, like I binged last night. I feel like I'm gonna struggle with this for the rest of my life. I feel like I'll never be able to compete again or cut again because of this, you know, problem that I have. And then he was like, dude, this isn't like your thing. Like people, like everyone struggles with this, you know? And if you keep fixating on it and like thinking that you're gonna binge again, it will happen. So like the more you think about it, the more likely it will happen. And as soon as he said that, I was like, you were so right. So he told me to just like look myself in the mirror, talk to myself, stop myself in that moment. Like, do I really need to eat this food right now? Like, is this gonna make me feel better? Blah, blah, blah. Just like really, you know, taking a step back and just like, you know, talking to myself. Now that, you guys, helped me so freaking much. Every time I have that urge to just like continue to eat, I literally just like stop myself and think, why? Like, what are my triggers right now? Why do I have this feeling to eat all this food right now? And then I just like, you know, take a few minutes to myself and walk away. I was like, I don't need this. Like, I don't. And then things are great. Things, you know, I didn't binge. I haven't binged in forever. You know, like a few weeks go by, I was still getting ready for the show. Things were going great, but then COVID happened. Shows got canceled. And then, yeah, quarantine, which I literally like didn't even binge during quarantine. I did have snacks, you know, I never restrict myself ever. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my whole story of binge eating. I honestly, truly thought, like the amount of times I felt like giving up, I can't even count them. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I know I will get over this. I know I can do this. And I wanted to get better so bad. So I did everything that I possibly could to get better. And it worked. Obviously, it took a long time, but I just like never gave up. And that's something that's super, super important. Like if you are struggling with this right now, it's so important to not give up on yourself and just to like fully believe that one day you will get over this. And that's, you know, that's something that helped me significantly. It was just knowing that one day I will get over this. And the belief I had in myself, you know, helped a lot. Now here I am, 7 or 8 weeks out from my next show. And I'm doing great. My carbs are like freaking so low right now, and I don't even have the urge to binge at all. So I'm like pretty damn proud of myself. And that's a good thing, to be proud of yourself. So yeah, I just like wanted to give you guys full insight of my story. I feel like I've forgotten so many different things, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole story. Now, I just want to also say that if you are struggling with a kind of eating disorder, I am not a professional whatsoever. This is just my story and what I did to help myself. You know, if you are struggling with it, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you reach out to a specialist, like your doctor or someone that can recommend a specialist with eating disorders. But yeah, this is just my story and what I did to help me. I also fully like recommend that you get a coach, someone to help you with this, someone to help you along with your fitness journey. Like that, like hiring Nick and being on his team, like it's been 1.5 years and I'm still on his team. Like literally finding the right coach for you is just the best thing of all and helps your journey so freaking much. But I also like can't even tell you how much working on your mindset helps things. Like I don't I was not addicted to food because I loved food so much. I used food to cover up my feelings and emotions and how shitty I felt about myself. I used food to make me feel better, not because I was addicted. It didn't even matter what kind of food it was, literally. It was even healthy food sometimes, and I would just continuously eat it non-freaking stop. So mindset is everything. You need to work on your mindset before doing any kind of dieting or any kind of thing, like anything like that. You need to, your fitness journey isn't just about working out, eating healthy. It's also has a lot to do with your mindset. So that's, if you do hire a coach, get one that's going to help you with your mindset as well. That's super, super important in your fitness journey. Now, I still do daily affirmations. I still journal. I still talk to myself in the mirror, and I still do all of these things because they still help me. And like, I still do struggle a little bit from time to time. Like, I'm not like the happiest person in the entire world. And also like, working on my mindset and stuff, and like getting at a healthier body weight has helped with depression and my anxiety. Like, I barely struggle with that anymore. Like, sometimes I get a little anxiety here and there, and I still get like seasonal depression when there's no sunshine. I just feel super down on myself, but literally I barely struggle with it at all. So that's just like proof, like, that working on your mindset and having a healthy diet and exercising just really does help with those issues. Now, again, I'm not a professional, excuse me, but I still will always recommend like reaching out to your doctor and getting professional help if you really do struggle with all these things. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my journey. It's been a long one and it's been rough, but I'm honestly happy that I went through all of that because it's made me so much stronger, like such a stronger person today. So I'm happy. So yes, that is everything. If you guys are struggling, feel free to reach out to me over Instagram or YouTube. Is there messaging? I'm so bad at YouTube, I don't know anything. But yeah, that's everything, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe I'll see you guys again soon over YouTube. Maybe. I'm gonna try my best, but yeah. All right, see you guys.